I'm Mia, and if I lost all of my makeup, this is what I would repurchase first. But yeah, hopefully kind of self-explanatory. Basically, like, if, you know, I moved across the country tomorrow and the moving company lost all of my stuff, or I had to throw out everything because it was all suddenly expired or something happened in the house and got contaminated, blah, 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 blah. This would be stuff that I would repurchase first and foremost, because it's stuff that I primarily use or love the most. And yeah, also this is my first time sitting down to like properly do my makeup for the first time in like 2 weeks. So, we'll see what happens when it comes to the eyeshadow. But yeah, let's get into it. Alright, for eyeshadow, I'm going to go in with the Blend Bunny Cosmetics Blends palette, because even though there are like 2 shades that I would change, I really do adore this palette. I adore the formula and, like I said, a majority of the colors. So yeah, I am going to start off with some of the shade Bubble Bath mixed with a little bit of Inside Joke. I do have a reference picture that I am using for this look. This is her. So, I'll start with, like I said, a mix of Inside Joke and Bubble Bath. And I'm going to start to pat and press that basically right under my brow. I'm going to go in with a slightly lighter color on the very, very edges. So, I'm just going to make sure to build that up a little there. But yeah, my manager totally messed with my hours, so I had more days off than I've had in the past like few months, week before last. But you know, I went too heavy-handed on that. But I was just so dejected and so pissed off that I couldn't even muster the energy to do my makeup on, you know, the extra few days off I had. Like, I got like 2 videos done, but one of them was a hair care and body care video, and the other was an actual skincare video. So I'm like, it's just like, I just don't feel it. But I have today, which is Sunday, May 17th, also nail day. Not quite what I wanted. I said I wanted like a shifty chrome or a shifty cat eye, and this is just plain silver cat eye, but c'est la vie, whatever. But I'm working 6 days straight from Tuesday to Sunday, so I need to get something done. My plan is to hopefully get this look done. I'm going to do a video later of doing new lip combos because I get interrupted sometimes. So, hopefully. But I'm going to blend what I can with this brush. And I may as well just go over it a little on the side just to make it even in the intensities. But yeah, it's just, it's been a week. And because I'm my assistant district manager, my former manager, texted me Friday night. She's like, hey, she's like, yeah, I already talked to the assistant manager. And now I'm gonna go in with some of Giggle. She's like, I really need help opening, you know, the store that you've been covering on Wednesday. Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, what can I do? Say no? I mean, yes, but then he would have words. But I'm like, yeah, no, that's fine. But they have a very important health inspection on Wednesday, because apparently they had one week before last. And you know, he came in Wednesday when I was there. He's like, oh, you know, I was here last week, just want to make sure they did what they were told. I'm like, I don't work here. He's like, I'll be here at 10:30 on Wednesday. I'm like, no, you won't, because we don't open until 11. He's like, well, someone's gonna be here, they can let me in. I'm like, I'm not letting you in, especially now. I'm like, this is not my, quite literally, this is not my problem. However, it is now my problem. But like, 2 of the things aren't even things that can be dealt with in store, and the 3rd one was just a misfortunate of, you know, I was clocked in for an hour before he showed up, and God forbid I didn't realize that 1 out of 4 soap dispensers didn't have soap in it. But the other one is something about the ceiling tiles, which none of us in store can deal with. And then something about a door stopper on the bathroom door, which also none of us can deal with. So he's like, if you guys don't pass this next one, you're not gonna be shut down, but you need to go for a preliminary here. And I'm like, I don't work here. They don't have a real manager. Oh, and then super, super small brush. This is the shade Secrets. It's also the reason why I didn't push that green totally into my brow. So I'm just gonna, again, not super visible, but just so there's a little something. But I can't clock in when I'm at that store, even though the system acknowledges that I'm scheduled for that store, but because I'm not in that store system, it won't let me clock in. So I need to trust district manager to put in all my times. And according to my coworker who's been covering that store a lot, he's like, she's usually really good about that, blah blah. He's like, our manager not so much. I'm like, well, since she's the one asking me, she's the one getting my times. And again, I don't trust him worth a shit, so. But I'm like, I told him, like, I'm going there Wednesday now too. He's like, well, I don't like our store. I'm like, yeah, I'm like, neither do I, but I'd like to be able to be clocked in and know that I'm getting my hours. Because even if she edits them today, I won't be able to see it on my time card until the pay period ends. I don't know why it does that, but that's just how it works. So I'm like, I'm just in a irrational fear until the pay period, because I'm like, I want my money. God forbid I want an 83-hour check. And then I'm going to take a little bit of the shade Promise, and I'm going to lay that right next to where I have the Giggle shade. Also, today is one of the first really hot days of the year. It's in the 80s. I'm a little uncomfortably warm right now, but it's not enough to justify turning my fan on, but I'm toasty. And like, I thought about changing the windows out downstairs, but there's no like breezes, so I'm like, there's no point in doing so. And then I'm also gonna go in with Sunsets with a little bit of cream and sugar, and I'm gonna pack right up in there. Not even gonna bother cutting because I left it fairly clean and open for that exact reason, because what do you know, I worked Tuesday through Saturday. Tuesday through Thursday was at the other location, which not thrilled with. And then I'm gonna take a little bit of Dream and use that to blend out some of the Giggle. But I'll put away their truck, which was awful, because thankfully they don't have a basement. Like, that's their only redeeming quality. Like, that's even what I said to my manager, the manager, when she was asking about. She's like, oh, you know, I know you don't like doing Tuesdays. I'm like, I don't like doing Tuesdays at our stores because we have a basement to bring all the stuff down. I mean, we don't now, but like, the point generally stands. I'm gonna do the tiniest bit of Giggle with the tiniest bit of Signs, more Giggle than Signs. I also put way too much. I'm just gonna do a little, but now I am officially tired. Like I said, I had no excuse to procrastinate doing my makeup the days I had off. I was just so, I had the wind was out of my sails, and I'm like, I can't muster the facade of actually doing my makeup. So I didn't. Alright, I'm gonna take some of the shade Nevermore, and we're gonna hope and pray that this isn't what messes my makeup up. Again, thoughts, prayers. Gonna do a very careful little wing just as a starting point. You know, had my nail appointment today, got up to Garment Center, and they're like, oh, the next you know, outbound train is in 10 minutes. I'm like, you know, whatever, that's not that long of a time. But I'm like, I don't like waiting. Jesus, I'm very warm. So I'm like, you know what, I was wearing long pants because, like I've said, I realized that I don't like my legs being exposed, so I got very lightweight pants from Old Navy. I was like, I'm gonna see how comfortable I actually am in these when walking. And I was fairly okay. My top half was sweating more than my bottom half, which was the plan. And then very light hand of Nevermore, like the tiniest bit on another brush. I'm just gonna use that to hopefully blend. But walked through the common and the gardens. I stopped at Flower and I got myself a little lemonade so I could be hydrated as I walked. I stopped to see if there were any ducklings. There were not. There were a lot of angry Canadians though. Geese. Make that joke every time because my mother's Canadian. So it's just one of those hee hee ha ha, and Canadian geese are evil and awful. And like I said, I saw a dude feeding one and I was really hoping that the goose was going to change its mind and like bite the guy. He didn't, because he hates me and thinks that I don't deserve entertainment in Boston. But yeah. And then this is a clean brush and I'm just gonna really get at it. Because I'm gonna clean this up, obviously. I'm not gonna leave this looking a mess. But no, next, I can't believe my next set of nails will be Pride nails. Like, that's insane to think. I did change, okay. Jesus Christ, these are so many brushes. This is going to be it for my mattes. I am going to use some micellar water and a pointed Q-tip to clean this up. I do already have, I changed my appointment day and time because I'm working on Pride. My nail appointment was originally for the day after Pride. I'm like, it makes sense to go in with my little gay nails for, so I have it for straight after work the day before because I'm supposedly out early. So fingers crossed, hopes and prayers. Okay. And I'm gonna bring this is just the brush with the original black. I'm just gonna bring this down a little, but I'm gonna do like, so it's gonna be like an airbrush gradient across all the nails, and then I'm gonna put my little rainbow chrome on top so it can be a little, you know, I want like in your face Pride this year. Last year somebody's like, oh my god, I love your like, you know, sorbet nails. I'm like, it's lilac, white, and orange, girl. And then all of these are from Terra Moon's Cosmetics. I would rebuy these all in a heartbeat because I actually did just rebuy. All but a few of these are new. I'd say these 5 of these are my regular ones. I just bought a bunch of new ones because a bunch of them are like really old and dried out and expired, and they're getting rid of my beautiful Perfect Angel Twinkle Dust, so I got a new one. But where is she? I think it's this shade. This is the shade Fragment. This is fairly new to me. I'm gonna use this and put some right on. Fantastic. I was a little worried that it wasn't gonna be the right tone, but it is. So even though the shade itself is new to me, I am a very big fan of Terra Moon's shadows. So I would rebuy, like I said, and I did rebuy all of these immediately. But if I had to only choose one shade, it would be Twinkle Dust. Even if she's again discontinued because they hate me. Alright, I need to go find some lashes and I might turn on my fan. But I should be back in a second. Alright, I'm back with some lashes on, with my fan on, because it was getting a little too much. So, this is from Glow Recipe. These are the Watermelon Glow Niacinamide Dewdrops. I know. I know. I think we could have guessed that this was going to be one of the things, because let's be real with each other here. Oh, but apparently, Numbnuts is under the impression that if I don't get my usual hours, that I'm going to quit, which is why part of the reason that he isn't giving me my hours, because he's also only doing open-ends, which isn't allowed. But I was talking to the DM about it, the assistant DM. I'm like, she's like, I was so confused. I'm like, yeah, because I never said that. All we had for a conversation was, hey, if you can't get your usual hours, are you going to be okay with that? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, I'll make do. I can figure it out. That is all I said. But also, if I was planning on quitting anytime soon, why would I be putting time off requests for July? Why would I be asking about the assistant manager position? Also, he's like, yeah, anyone who he's like, I want to promote someone from within the store, that way it's easier, blah, blah. So one of the night crew applied, doesn't know how to open, doesn't know how to do paperwork, like the invoices and inventory and stuff. And then the bike driver apparently applied, and he doesn't know how to do any of that, obviously. You know who's the only person who's trained how to do every single thing in the store, besides basically doing the schedule and placing our delivery orders? Hi. And then this is from Kulfi. This is the Double Life Serum Primer. I love this stuff so much. But I also took the initiative of making a new contact sheet. I'm just doing like small spiteful things to be like, when someone will be like, so we'll be like, oh my god, who did this? They'll be like, oh, Mia did it. And they'll be like, Or, Mia made the contact sheet. Mia is the reason that our access card for the school is fixed. Mia is the reason the porta potty got cleaned the first and following times. Mia is the reason that we have change in the store, because there isn't we use Wells Fargo, I think, but there's not one that close to the store. That's why I use TD Bank, which is my personal bank. I was saying that to my manager. I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna stop. I'm like, I hope he knows that if I leave, he's never gonna get changed again. She's like, no, stop doing him favors. I'm like, well, also, I have said for years that if I leave on my own terms, I'm just disappearing one day. I am blocking everybody's number and the store phone's number and just not giving any notice. I'm like, why would I be nice like that? But this is from Haus Labs. This is the Trichlone Skin Tech Foundation in 070 Fair Neutral. I've really grown to love this a lot more the past year or two, which is funny because I've had it for a couple in like the first half of the time that I've had it. I'm like, it's a perfectly fine foundation. Ooh, shit balls. And now I'm like, oh my god, so slight. Need to feed Bridget later. She did eat most of her lunch. I also sprinkled some cheese on it. She's also been having her breakfast with some yogurt, because she loves that. And yes, I know, don't want to get her used to human food, but at least it's like good human food. And she also needs the calories. She is very small. I did meet a Whippet puppy on my way to my nail appointment. So see, if I had it walked, I wouldn't have met Abby. She's 8 months old, because I felt bad because the lady was talking to another guy about the dog. Apparently he had just gotten a Whippet too. But, kind of lingered by her. She's like, oh my god. And then the dog immediately came to see me, because obviously that's how this works with dogs like me. She's 8 months old. My friend gave me a little seal keychain that I keep on my bag, and she immediately tried to steal it. I'm like, you know what? My dog too. But I said something, I'm like, oh my god, have an Italian Greyhound. She's like, oh my god, where did you get it from? I'm like, oh my god. I'm like, I don't want to be like, PetSmart, but I'm like, I can't think of a breeder. I'm like, technically she's my mother's dog. Like, I kind of just came home, went to see them one day, blah blah, because like, I'm not gonna let the lady know that I live with my parents still. So it's like, oh, same building, different apartment. I'm like, went to go see them, and then it was just a dog. I'm like, because like, that's the lady's third Whippet, and 2 of them previously have been former race dogs, so she knows, she goes through reputable sources. I'm like, I didn't want to tell her that, but I'm like, oh, But Like, I was looking at Abby, I'm like, I really hope that's not a full-grown Italian Greyhound, because I can't get her. I'm like, I don't want her that big. Again, thankfully she's a Whippet, because it goes Italian Greyhounds, Whippets, and then Greyhounds in terms of sizes, so. And then this is from Patrick Ta. This is the Major Skin Soft Blur Brightening Concealer. I know I've only had this for like a month, but honestly, this might be my favorite concealer. Because, like, you know, I loved my Huda Beauty one, in terms, like, of an everyday concealer. Or, like, when I wore makeup outside, because I knew that it would last. But, like, this is really it's a top-notch. She's beautiful. She's perfect. Like, I can't complain about her. Oh, I did get about a 50-cent raise. You know, I was like, okay, I'm like, it was my anniversary. Maybe it's an anniversary raise. And I said something about it to my assistant, to the assistant DM. And she's like, oh, no, it's a cost of living raise. I'm like, I'm like, I knew it wasn't performance reviews because would have had to fill something out. I was like, I was hoping it was an anniversary raise. And she's like, oh, she's like, that's so cute. I'm like, you know, God forbid. I'm like, we're not getting any merch this year because they're redoing their line, so it's not going to be until mid-summer, I think, that I'm going to get the ability to get anything. And, like, I don't want anything. I'm like, they should give me the option to get, like, a bonus. Like, realistically, why would I want branded merch from my company for my anniversary? I want money. Like, girl, be so for real with ourselves here. We'll just do a little. My skin is going through a little bit right now, but I also just shaved my face, so usually after that, no matter what, my skin starts to act up a bit. And then this is from Morphe. This is the Shapelifter Micro Contour Stick in the shade Enhanced. I don't think we can be too surprised by this, because I have not put this down since I got it, basically. Like, I forced myself to use some different things so I don't, you know, repeat the same products, you know, 8 times in a row, but, like, this really is just perfect. I love the formula. I love the shade. I might need to set my face because, again, it's warm in here. But I went to, I don't even remember why I did, but I went to Dunkin' Donuts after I got off the train sometime last week. And apparently they have limeades now. So I was like, you know what? I'll get a limeade. And with their lemonades, I usually do 1 pump less of cane sugar than the size recommends. So I think I got a medium and it was 2 pumps of liquid cane. I don't remember the brand, but it comes in a green box, and they're frozen popsicles. And I get the lime ones over the summer. It tastes exactly like that. I'm like, this is beautiful and perfect. And because, like, sometimes I don't want caffeine, but, like, sometimes I don't want straight water. So, you know, a nice limeade. And they do have raspberry syrup, but it's 0 sugar, and I have a thing with 0 sugar stuff, because I can feel the fake sugar, and it gives me a, like, bubbly mouthfeel, and I don't like it. So I'm not going to force myself to drink it. Now, these are both from Huda Beauty. Again, I love this blush formula, and it's fairly long wear. This is the shade Strawberry Cream. This is the shade Bubblegum. I'm going to mix a little bit of them together. I know, wild concept. The only thing is that these are the old applicators and not the new ones. So, it's gonna, might be here a while, gonna be honest here. Like, I do like the applicator for the new ones better than this. And I'm gonna do, like, a very little amount of bubblegum compared to Strawberry Cream. Like, I do like the shape and the fact that it dispenses. You can apply more product with the new applicator. I just feel like the actual construction of the wand and the doe foot is a little worrying. So, but I'm like, I still have these. These are fairly good. Like the bubblegum shade, I got it earlier in the year, so I'm like, there's no point in buying a new one. Strawberry Cream, I might be out of that one soon, so. But, should not have put that much on, because now I can't. Now there's not enough on the back of my hand still. So I'm gonna do a tiniest dot on the cheek, just so I can get a little more even. But I love these 2 shades mixed together specifically. Like, I'll wear strawberry cream like by itself, like if I'm doing outside makeup, but they look better mixed together on my skin tone when I have a full face on. And yes, I know this looks ridiculous. Gonna fix it. And then just do a little whatever's left on the brush. It just makes it the easiest. And then I use this specifically as a layering blush because it doesn't have a lot of pigment on its own. This is from NYX Professional Makeup. This is the Buttermelt blush, specifically in the shade Butter Together. I'm just gonna do a little, and this way it will also help kind of dull down some of the shine on my face. Again, just a little, just to bring a little more pink into me. And then this is from Colourpop Cosmetics. This is the Super Shock Cheek Pearlized, specifically in the shade Seismic. I've used Colourpop highlighter since I was in high school. Like, realistically, if I had to throw out all my highlighters tomorrow and keep only one formula, it would be the Colourpop ones. One shade, not happening. Formula-wise, it would be Colourpop. I know, it's so funny. Which is, and this is going to be funny because my father and I had a conversation about a similar topic shortly thereafter, just unprompted. I lost respect for one of the food influencers I follow, because specifically I follow her for New York things. She came to Boston with a friend for like a weekend, I think. She's like, oh my god, we went to Mike's, and I went, oh honey, no. Like, Mike's is perfectly fine, but the only people who go there are college kids or tourists. It's funny because one of the Boston pages I follow was like, oh, is it Mike's or Modern's? And everyone's like, it's either Modern if I have the choice between the two, or if I have my third option, it's Bofus. And Bofus is the correct answer. But my father, there's a thing called SOA Open Market. They've started bringing influencers in, and they didn't tell any of the vendors this until like last minute. So my father's a little upset with all of it because he's like, influencers soup. He's like, there are 150 influencers. They sold out as it was. He's like, so you want me to give free food and then complain when I sell out? He's like, how does that make sense? Again, not that every influencer is gonna come and get stuff from you know, the truck, but like, they hold enough food for about 150 to 250 people usually. Where's the logic there? So, but no. Lost, not all respect. I'm just gonna ignore that one video because I focus on her mostly for froyo. I know that's very odd, but Boston does not have many froyo or ice cream shops. So, I live vicariously through her. And I think, to no one's surprise, this is from Makeup Forever. This is the Artist Color Pencil, specifically in the shade, anyway, Caffeine. I know. We're gonna line. It's funny because I procrastinated putting on lashes on to the point where I'm like, should I even go back? I'm like, I forgot how tiring this was, but now like I'm back into my groove of things. I'm like, oh my god, actually kind of missed this. But no, I want to try to do a video of like trying new lip combos because I tend to do the same stuff. So it's just one of those. Do something a little different, both in terms of videos and trying new things. And that way I can actually force myself to use colors I usually wouldn't. And I don't need to worry about matching. I know I don't need to worry about it to begin with, but I like matching my lips and my blush to an extent. I like either this needs to be matching or this needs to be matching. So that's why I kind of stay along the same things. So it's just one of those, but I don't need to worry about that if I'm just trying new things. If I could only keep one gloss, it would be the CoverGirl Clean Fresh Yummy Gloss. This one's in the shade You're Just Jelly. I really do love these glosses. I like the more jelly ones. Some of the more pigmented ones are like a little milky, and I don't like that. These ones, fantastic. 10 out of 10. It's such like a good light formula, and they're not overly sticky or stringy. I'm just putting a very light amount because I don't want it to be too much on my like too much color. So I'm gonna kind of make it almost look a little more balmy by patting it in. But I need to go fix my bangs, and I should hopefully be back in a second. Alright, and this is the finished look. I feel like my lighting looks off, which is weird because I have my 2 LED lights and then my regular room light on, but c'est la vie. I had to fix my bangs because they haven't been banging lately, so. But yeah, I think it's perfectly fine. I need something colorful and fun to get back into the swing of things. The eyes are perfectly fine. They're respectable. The base, I could have said it, but c'est la vie. I didn't want to go find a powder that I actually like. I like powders, but I have specific powders for specific reasons, so I'm like, if I had to rebuy one, it would be a very hard thing. But again, full face of if I lost or damaged all of my products tomorrow and could only rebuy one from every category, or this is what I'd buy first. Whatever long ass title we want to call this. Also, my brother's lacrosse team won their first game. Yeah, not yesterday, a few days ago. Like, they had to go into overtime because of how close the game was. But they actually won. I didn't know they knew how to do that. I feel a little bad because none of us were there, but you know, everyone else had work. And to be fair, my parents have been going to these games for like a year and a half, and they've never won. They've gotten close a few times lately, but it's never been a, oh my god, they're totally gonna win kind of thing. But he won. He apparently scored their first goal, which then obviously led into them actually ended up winning. Again, they had to go into overtime, so they did well. Congratulations. Don't tell them I said that. But yeah.